Just like your parents warned you for your first boyfriend or girlfriend, you want to be careful with that first choice. Stick around to find out about the best boats for beginners on today's video. Hi, I'm Sean from Cove Lessons in Boating. It's sometimes really challenging to answer the question, what's the best boat for a beginner boater? Because really, that could be a 16-foot small fishing boat, or it could be a 80-foot yacht. A lot of that comes down to how you plan to use it. And you can check out this video here, which actually kind of goes through each and every different boat type. And there's this video here that goes through the decision process of figuring out what the best boat type is for you. But let's talk about the first-time boat buyer, because if you're watching this video, maybe that's you. And I think the best rule of thumb for the first-time boat buyer is that you don't really know what you don't know. And people who have owned boats for years or own multiple boats start to really hone in on exactly how they use the boat, what kind of boat works for them, and they often change that during the years as their needs change. But if you've never owned a boat before, the most important part is that you find someone who can give you some guidance on it, whether you're working with a dealer, maybe you have a really good friend who's a boater who can give you some advice. After you get some good advice, you're going to want to make sure that the first boat you buy is something that you can make a mistake on and not have it cost you too much money. And what I mean by that is that luckily boats depreciate at a relatively slow pace. You want to buy a boat for your first boat that is going to be relatively easy for you to trade or sell if you decide that boating's not right for you. So there's some boats that you'd want to avoid. Avoid really, really old boats. As attractive as they are to purchase because their pricing is low, they're also really hard to resell in the market because people are often very leery on getting something that's very old. I'm talking about 30 years plus. So I would avoid those. Spend a little more money, get something a little newer. I would recommend avoiding boats that their manufacturers had very small production values. So if you do a little research online and you find that the boat manufacturer is no longer in business, there doesn't seem to be really very many of them for sale on the market, that's maybe something I would avoid. I'd stick to popular brands, Sea Rays, Chaparrals, Bayliners. If you're in pontoons, Harris's, Godfrey, Barletta, anything that is a known brand and you see a fair number of them for sale on the market, take that as a positive that there's enough of them out there that there's going to be brand knowledge and people are out looking for them. Another type of boat for you to avoid is ones with a lot of hours on them. We're talking, possibly thousands, maybe ones that were used in boat clubs and are coming up for a lot of scheduled maintenance and therefore may be harder for you to resell in the future. And really be careful on color. You may really love yellow or bright red or some color. However, you'll notice in the marketplace there's a lot of whites, there's a lot of blacks, there's a lot of grays, and there's a lot of blues. And that's because those colors are timeless. So if you are a first-time boat buyer, be careful of getting into a boat that is a really kind of unique color because it'll make it harder for you to resell in the future. One of the reasons we're talking about this is that you may decide that a 18-foot bow rider is the right boat for you. You use it for one season and decide that was really a mistake. I should have a 24-foot pontoon boat. Or you may decide to buy a 24-foot pontoon boat and not like it at all and decide that a center console is right for you. Because there's that knowledge gap in your first boat, you're going to want to be really careful and buy something that is right for you and also easy for you to resell in the future. Okay, so let's talk about new versus used. Certainly when you get into a used boat, you're going to pay less and the depreciation has already occurred from the first, second, or third year, depending on how old you get. If you go much older than that, you may want to check out this video here on common used boat problems. Another consideration is where are you going to use the boat. If you're in salt water, you're probably going to want to avoid stern drive boats. Or if you decide that you're going to use your boat on larger bodies of water, you're going to want to avoid smaller boats or boats that don't handle with a deep V. So avoid flat bottoms, john boats, or maybe even bay boats, as they're really not designed to handle a rough chop. So what boat is best for a beginner? That really depends on how you're going to use it. But avoid odd boats, meaning one-offs, strange colors, old boats, boats that have significantly high hours, boats that have rough canvas, rough upholstery, or any of those common used boat problems that may cost you a lot of money for you to repair and then sell later. Hopefully you get the boat right the first time and it's the perfect boat for you. Realistically though, we find most boaters go to 2, 3, up to 5 boats in their lifetime or more. So don't be worried too much about making the perfect decision on the first one, but just play your cards right so you don't end up with something that's hard to get rid of. Thanks for joining us on today's Lens Cove Lessons in Boating. Make sure you like this video and please subscribe for more. I hope you have some fun, find the right boat for you, and we'll see you out on the water.